Oh my goodness, it's so humid. It's what, September 18th? It is, because yesterday was my wife's birthday. She turned 40 again. There's Bob, just laying in his own poop and pee. That's what Bob does. So I did swap out. So hey everybody, it's Mike with Monkey Fab. Back on the Phoenix, final reassembly. Everything be reassembled, but we're just trying to make everything talk and work, which is the hard part for us cognitive function impaired bunch like me. So monkeyfabgarage.com. So weird thing happened on the way to start my car. This guy, I think off of Amazon for like $10 or $20 or something, and it was in my fuel port, and it worked for about 3 days, maybe 2 days, I'm not sure. But I got in there and tried to start it, and I noticed that suddenly my fuel pressure was like stupid low. And then I got thinking like, wow, maybe the tank rusted out and it's just decomposing in there, because I left E in it for almost a year, and I better go check the fuel filters. But then I said, you know what, I think that was that Amazon boy, and I think that I've heard a lot of people complain about these guys, so I just swapped it out with the Autometer, one that came with the Autometer gauge that I had for fuel pressure, and fuel pressure's fixed. So just keep an eye on these little transducers, and I guess try to buy them from a reputable source. Everything's plumbed, wired almost correctly, but it's my fault that it's not 100% correct. I just made some mistakes on what functionality the dash can and can't do. We were trying to make the dash talk to the computer over the CAN, and you know, because the Termi only has so many input outputs. Mostly it's inputs that I'm flooded with, but I do need an extra output. I think 5, and it only has 4. And anyway, I got the dash thinking, oh, hey, the dash will do this job, and then I realized that the dash wouldn't do the job, and then I called around and they said, no, the dash will do the job, and there's just nobody knows. So I did call Holley, and they were able to like get some inputs to work. So you can get some inputs, but some inputs you can't get to talk to the computer, and that's just the way it is. Like, it's unknown territory. I don't think a lot of people have been there, and there's not a lot of information on it. And some of the information, there's like, they're like, oh yeah, you just go do this, this, and this, and you look at the software, and they're on, you know, the EFI or the Dominator stuff. So I don't know why some stuff works on some and whatever. Anyway, long story short, guys and gals, if there's any of y'all watching, is I think that the solution to our problem was this fancy little Holley CAN module. So this has 8 inputs and 8 outputs. So I believe you can pretty much any input whatever you want, and then the outputs are switch to ground or ground pulse width modulate, which will work just fine. All we need to do is, I was going to use it to turn on the fan, use it to turn on my second fuel pump, and that's just off the top of my head the things I can remember. And I want all that to be controlled obviously by the computer, and the computer can't control that to the dash. So that's what we gotta do is, and all those things are pinned. So all we gotta do is just, luckily it's the same pin. This is a really nice kit. You know, I think it was like under $400. So, I mean, that could be cheap, that could be expensive. It's all relative to who's doing it. How to hook it up is super easy. It's got the connector, it's only got one connector, pre-wired for CAN. So you plug this into your CAN boy, and then this becomes, you know, where you plug your USB port in, or your handheld or whatever. And it's got one ground that requires, you know, a nice clean ground, which is going to go right to our negative terminal cable. And then the rest of these guys you can just pin for ins and outs and ground solenoids and all this stuff. So that will just pull right out of the dash where we've already done these pins. They're the same pins, and just poke right into the back of that, and that will get us hopefully straightened out. I really hope to. I just got to add add refrigerant to this bad boy. Oh, and then it comes with like a bunch of leads like already pre-terminated, kind of like halfway terminated, so you can run whatever wires to wherever you want. This for us is already done. So although I probably will use some of that. I'm not, my fuel level gauge is not working. It is a one wire and the other wire is grounded to the chassis, and I believe that maybe we're just not getting enough clean enough ground, because we've got no fuel level right now whatsoever. So I'm gonna try to run another ground to the back for that. And otherwise we're just gonna be wiring, pulling the stuff that's out of the dash, fans, wheel speed sensors, stuff like that, and plugging it into this guy. And then we're doing all this so we can have a functioning vehicle with AC, so we can drive around on nice days, and when we turn on the AC, the car knows it, and when we floor it with the AC on, the car knows to turn it off, stuff like that. All right, so we got all that CAN bus guy put in. I'll take you inside and kind of show you, here's some remnants of stuff we were doing. I need to vacuum out this, when you're doing wiring and stuff, and you just end up with that pile of trash that needs to be cleaned up. So, hey everybody, welcome to the inside of the Hot Rod Phoenix. And here's our dash, and I'm just gonna stick the CAN bus over here in this thing somewhere. But it was really easy. You just kind of read. Here's what we pulled out. We pulled out the traction control selector, which is the 5-volt switch, the two-step, which is the switch to ground, the drive shaft speed, which is a 5-volt sensor, and the fuel pump, the fan and the fuel pump to ground. Yeah, and then we just, as we did that, we put all that stuff over here so we know what pin to that they're under, so we can do computer stuff. So other than like one wire that was just kind of too fat, it was one of these big, I think that's like 16 gauge or 18 gauge. Most of the stuff going into here is 20 gauge, and I think that the biggest stuff they sent us, they'll tell you right here on there, this stuff we send you. Yeah, 18 gauge is the biggest that they send for the output wires. And yeah, so that just basically pulled out of this guy and put into that guy. Now we're going to go into the Holley over mill and see if we can get everything to talk the way it's supposed to. That's always a challenging part. So here you go, wish me luck. And we can measure these out, find the fucking circumference.
Why are we going down already?
I gotta put, oh, you're videotaping me? I gotta fill the fucking reservoir up. I didn't run and dry though. Don't be
How many
fucking...
breaks did we get bled?
One.
Just one.
What do you mean just one?
And we're already coming back down.
Are you tired? Is that what you're complaining about?
No,
like
I'm
you're
not.
Fucking, is
I
your
was
foot
simply
tired?
asking a question.
I just want to make sure that you're okay, man.
I'm okay.
Okay, just checking.
You
If
okay?
you get worn out, let me know.
You look a lot shorter from up there.
Well, I am short. You look like, you know, I think with all that leverage you have on those long ass legs, that you wouldn't wear out so fast. Or be like so whiny about it. Sounds like having my wife up in here fucking helping me lead the brakes.
My legs don't like pumping brakes. That's why I don't ride a bicycle. Very Reagan and Bush, 1984. You know you got a Reagan and Bush sticker from 1984?
Yes.
You put a seatbelt on, that kind of worries me. I know it's the legal aspect, but
So dirty, dude. She's dirty. Let's see. Oh, I don't have my windshield wiper squirtery on. Ah, shit. We're moving under our own power. It's a little dusty in here. Oh, there's the 1-2 shift. And the speedometer's working?
pretty
Holly's impressive, number one. I get what you're saying. Number two, it kind of always has that like 1970s kind of floaty feel into it. It reminds me of a Cadillac my grandpa used to have, like a 70-something Cadillac. And the brakes still feel horrible. I think we just need like a bigger brake. Booster cylinder guy. Oil pressure is like good, it's 50s-ish. I want to change that oil out anyway. Our water temp is like 180. She's not happy, but the fan's working at least, and so is our thermostat.
Pretty good fan of the Phoenix.
Everybody loves Shabbat.
I think we could have got lunch.
I keep seeing a whiff of something back there. I don't know if it's the headliner flashing or if it's smoke. But I think lunch is. I think round the block is pretty good. I'm gonna be happy with round the block too. If I had everything set up and I knew all the electrics were doing what they're
The
supposed to
dash
be doing,
wasn't just setting on the column.
yeah, I might be a little more ambitious. But the turn signals work. You see that?
Indicators are working.
Little indicators work.
It's hard as hell to see it in the video, but you just have to take our word for it.
Just have to believe us. You gotta cut off by a Jeep. You gotta replace that pump.
Oh, brakes seem to work pretty damn good. It doesn't seem too hesitant. I think
Yeah,
it runs
she feels
pretty damn
pretty
good
heavy.
for no tune.
Yeah, the Holly is, there's a red light on our LEDs. I wonder what that's about. That is number 6. So it'll be interesting to see what number 6 is. On the oil pressure.
I think it's that heat wrap on the turbo blanket and all that stuff that I smell.
Oh yeah, that stuff's got to burn off. This is the first time it's driven probably in a year and a half or so.
Oh, I'd call that pretty
I
successful.
want to say it was before last summer, because I was like, I'll just use this as an excuse to put the AC in. And about a year later, that makes about sense. It's about my speed. I always come through. I tell the wife, like, hey, if I tell you I'm going to do something, there's no need to remind me every year. Hey everybody, so it went pretty good for the first drive, considering there was lots of things that still need to be kind of sorted out, nut and bolted the chassis down. There was lots of little issues that we had to sort through. It's run so good, it's so fun. I drove it to the grocery store today to take the wife shopping. What a great car. But no, so I just want to let y'all know we really appreciate you, our little team here at Monkey Fab Garage. Your guys' support means the world to us. We hope you guys have the best Christmas and a happy new year and a great year to come. Thank you for all the support, and thanks for dropping by, checking out the video. It's Mike with Monkey Fab signing out.